Elderly couple apply to orphan asylum for a boy. By mistake, a girl is sent to them.
Hello, I'm Michael Serapio. For millions of Anne of Green Gables fans, that entry will sound very familiar because it was that very premise, an orphan girl adopted by an elderly brother and sister, that would begin one of the most successful and enduring stories in Canadian literature. Published in 1908, Anne of Green Gables was a success from the very start. The book sold nearly 20,000 copies in its first 6 months alone, and in the more than 100 years since, the book has now sold an estimated 50 million copies worldwide, inspiring a number of stage, film, and TV productions. But despite that success, few people know much about the woman who created Anne Shirley, author Lucy Maud Montgomery. That is in part why filmmaker Sunny Yee was inspired to create a documentary that will air this summer on CPAC, Echoes of Green Gables, Formative Years of L.M. Montgomery.
Because Lucy Maud Montgomery has long been overshadowed by her own creation, we celebrate names such as Alice Munro, Margaret Atwood, and Mavis Gallant, and so many other wonderful Canadian writers, especially Canadian women writers. Yet rarely do Montgomery's name is mentioned in the same breath as those other great writers. And yet she was, and I think arguably still is, Canada's first internationally recognized author. And so this film is my way of asking, who is Lucy Maud Montgomery? Who was this woman behind Anne of Green Gables?
And in telling her story, the source material, it's her own journals that you are using. How did that change or enhance what you were trying to accomplish with your film?
Oh, it's been an incredible journey because in the beginning, like all research, I started by interviewing all the Montgomery scholars and experts and devoted fans, not only across Canada but around the world. And then I started to get deeper into her journals and her personal journals that she kept. And I said, I'm chasing the wrong story here. The story is here. She already wrote the story for us to share with everybody. And she writes in it, this is where all my secrets are buried. This is who I really am. I am not Anne Shirley. This is me. So I completely changed the creative direction of the film and said, no, we are not going to have any other outside voices. Lucy Maud Montgomery is going to tell her own story in her own voice, using her own words.
And not only that, you also employ in the film Lucy Maud Montgomery's granddaughter, great-granddaughter, and great-great-granddaughter to read her journals, to tell her tale. What was that like for you?
Oh, it was incredibly humbling. I was kind of almost touching vicariously this very famous, extremely talented and complicated woman through her heirs and direct descendants. So, and what it did was by having her direct descendants or heirs read the words of their grandmother, great-grandmother, and whatnot, it brought that poignant intimacy that the documentary was missing.
I desire that these journals
Never be destroyed, but kept as long as the leaves hold together,
I leave this to my descendants
as a sacred charge, and invoke a Shakespearean curse on them
if they disregard it.
So, at the end of the day, Sunny, what do you hope viewers will get out of your documentary?
Well, when author as famous as Montgomery, we often mistake her characters, her created, imagined characters, with the authors themselves. And I'm hoping the audience will see and understand this really very complex woman who touched us emotionally and intellectually. And through her personal experience, she wrote a story that became very universal.
Echoes of Green Gables, Formative Years of L.M. Montgomery. Watch it this summer on CPAC.